Hi, I'm Kirsty Louise and today I'm going to show you how to make my DIY pet advent calendar. You'll find a link to this PDF download in the description of this video. Once you have all of the pages printed, cut along the dotted line underneath the instructions. You can just pop them to one side for now. Then cut out your pocket template. Place your pocket template over your felt and trace around it using a fabric pen. Now cut around that line you've just drawn. You're going to want to repeat this until you have 24 pockets in total. If this is your first time using Bondaweb, you'll notice that there's a smooth side and a textured side. You're going to be drawing your pattern pieces onto the smooth side, and the textured side is what will be ironed onto your fabric. I like to cut a piece of Bondaweb that's going to be easy enough to work with, rather than trying to work with the whole roll. Place the Bondaweb over the pattern, smooth side up, textured side down, and then simply trace around each pattern piece. Make sure you're marking each piece with the correct number so that you don't get confused later on. I'm now going to show you an example of how I trace my pattern onto the Bondaweb to prevent as much wastage as possible. Here you can see the printed page and then how I've traced it onto the Bondaweb. Now you need to roughly cut around each of the pattern pieces. Once you have all of your pattern pieces roughly cut out, you're going to want to start ironing them onto your felt. Make sure that the textured side is the part facing the felt and the side you've just drawn on is facing up. Rather than ironing directly onto the felt, I like to cover it with a piece of scrap fabric. Once you've ironed each piece, make sure you place them to the side to allow them to cool before you start cutting. Once they're nice and cooled, you can once again roughly cut around each piece. And then once you have everything roughly cut out, you can go back through and cut around each template neatly. You may find using a sharp pair of embroidery scissors will help with the smaller, more intricate pattern pieces. Once you have all of your pieces cut out, you're going to want to carefully remove the backing paper of the Bondaweb. I find using a pair of tweezers really helps with this part. You can then use the reference photo that I've included in this pattern to put each of your pocket designs together. I've linked most of the items you'll need for this project to my Amazon storefront. There will be a link to this in the description of this video. Feel free to customise your advent calendar with sparkles or sequins. I did this for my cat's advent calendar and I feel it really takes it to another level. Once you've added the designs to each of your pockets, you're going to want to take your 20 by 36 inch piece of backing fabric and fold over one of the shorter edges by 1.5 inches. Pin this and then take it over to your sewing machine. This is creating the channel for our dowel, which is what we'll use to hang the advent calendar. Using a regular straight stitch, you're going to want to sew a straight line all the way across, sewing as close to the raw edge as you can. Don't forget to backstitch at the beginning and the end. If you don't want to use a sewing machine for this project, you can either hand stitch or use fabric glue. If you're adding your pet's name to your advent calendar, take your Bondaweb and trace over each letter you need. Just as we did earlier, you're going to want to roughly cut around each letter, iron them onto your preferred colour of felt, wait for it to cool, and then cut it out neatly. Remove the backing paper of the Bondaweb, and then I recommend placing your letters right below the line you've just stitched. Once you have them in the correct position, give them a really good iron. Now it's time to add your pockets. For this advent calendar, there are a total of 6 rows with 4 pockets in each row. I've added my pockets in numerical order, however you can mix them up if you wish. Place each pocket approximately ½ an inch apart and pin them in place. Now head over to your sewing machine and it's time to stitch each of those pockets down. This can be a little bit tricky with all of the fabric, but I find by folding and rolling the fabric as I go along, it keeps everything neat and out of the way. Just take your time and don't forget to backstitch at the beginning and the end of each pocket. Remember, if you don't want to use a sewing machine, you have the option to hand stitch or fabric glue these pockets in place. Once all of those pockets are stitched down, cut away any loose threads and add your dowel by pushing it through the channel that we sewed earlier. Now all that's left to do is to add our ribbon. You can tie this in whichever way you please. I tied mine into a double knot on each side and then just cut away the extra ribbon. Your advent calendar is now complete. You can fill the pockets with small toys or treats and get ready to enjoy the Christmas countdown with your pet. I'd love and appreciate if you could subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. Thank you for watching and I hope you have an amazing Christmas.